All right, good morning. We had a handful of registrants. However, I don't see anybody who has joined in yet, although I do know a good number of people signed up but knew that they were not going to be able to participate, but they wanted to get the recording. So I'm not going to delay myself any further. I'm going to go ahead and host this webinar as if I have a big crowd of people in front of me. And everybody who signed up will get the recording. And if you tune in late, you'll get the recording. So anyway, here goes nothing. I will start off by saying I'm going to be reading from my little notes in front of me, mostly because I don't want to get off track, but also because I want to make sure that I give you all of the information that I intend to give you without missing anything. So forgive me for looking down a few times. I just want to make sure that you get everything that I had planned for you. So if you don't know who I am, I'm Ashanti. I run Women's Choice Perinatal Services, Women's Choice Charitable Association. I've been in birth work for a little bit over 8 years. And this is something that I see a lot, something that I also struggled with as a newer birth worker, was getting booked. Now, when I'm talking about boosting your booking rate, I am pretty much focusing on the point of like consultation going forward, or interest in your service and going forward, not the marketing piece. The marketing piece is a little bit, I mean, it goes hand in hand, of course, because you increase your booking with good marketing, but I'm talking about after you've marketed yourself and there's now interest. If you need support with marketing, that's something that you can book a Pick My Brain session for. You can get mentorship with me, or you can consider buying the videos that I have, which are your marketing your birth biz, become a six-figure birth worker would also be relevant. And there's another webinar that's going to be coming up that is about passive income, which can kind of help you with that a little bit too, kind of, sort of. When you do other things, you can attract business for other things. So anyway, over the years, I've been able to create a method that has worked very well to achieve nearly a 100% booking rate. And I'm going to share this extremely simple method with you. So, number one, know your target audience and talk to them. Okay, that's really important. Use your website and your social media to attract the clients that you want to serve. That means showcasing your focus areas. That's super important because a lot of the times people will, especially when you're new in birth work, I find that you are a little bit desperate. You can't say, I mean, we're humans, right? When we're new to doing something, especially in business, like when it's sales or, trying to sell your services or products, there's a little bit, I mean, sometimes there's a lot, but for most people, there's at least this little bit of like kind of desperation, like, please, I want to sell this, or I need somebody to book me, or like it kind of gives us validation too, right? That this is what we're supposed to be doing. This is where we are aligned, that we're doing it right? It gives us validation to have people book our services or buy our products. But with that little bit of desperation comes allowing clients to book you who are not the right clients for you, or having people come to your consultations that are not the right clients for you, and that's why they end up not booking. And it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with you, and it doesn't mean that there's something wrong with them. It just means that you're not a match that's meant to be made, whether it be for, I don't know, sometimes religious reasons, sometimes just your views or beliefs. Sometimes people are like, there are doulas who say, excuse me, who say, I will not support hospital births because it's triggering for me to be in a hospital. So I only support people who are doing home births. Well, then when you are advertising and marketing your services, you need to speak to the audience who is planning to have a home birth. You don't want to just advertise yourself as just a doula. I'm accepting doula clients. If you're due between this time and this time, come and get your consultation. You need to make sure that you include, if you're having or planning to have a home birth, come and book a consultation with me. Speak to the audience that you want. That's going to help eliminate or drastically reduce getting consultations with people who are going to end up not being the right fit for you. That includes, like, if you are working with the BIPOC community, LGBTQ, if you cater to the religious community, teens, low income, or the opposite. Some people want to book clients that want luxury services, like high end, really expensive, single families, surrogate families, things like that. Find your target audience. Where does your focus lie? And make sure that that's known. For me, if you go to my website, my home page, it says exactly who I aim to serve. My website says my goal is to primarily support young Black families within my community. That's my target audience. That's who I want to serve. Does that mean I don't take other clients who don't fit within that category? No. I take other clients all the time. And guess what? I still get booked by other clients all the time. But that's because all the other things align between us, and they know just who I am and what I'm about and where I stand, and there's a mutual understanding about that. So first things first is to make sure that you know your target audience and you talk to your target audience, because you're going to just get people coming in for consults and they're going to be like, oh yeah, no, I don't fit in that category, or no, I'm not planning this, or, they're just not the right client for you. So get that out of the way. Next up, I like to call this the season and marinate. So some people, and before I continue, you do you. What you do, if you feel like it works for you, I am in no way, shape, or form trying to say that what you do is wrong or like whatever. This is my own opinion, and this is what I find works for me in my business. And because it's working for me and what I'm sharing with you is what works for me, this is what I'm going to share. Some people do not want to give pricing info before their consultation. In my opinion, as a consumer, I bypass any business that does not show their pricing online. There's nothing more wasteful of time than waiting for and attending or hosting a consultation only to find out that the service is not affordable. Some clients also won't want to book because of your policy, or just not necessarily your policy, but maybe the way that you do things. And not to say that the way that you do things is bad, but maybe you say, okay, after 12 hours, I'm either going to send you a backup, or I can charge you an hourly rate if your labor goes over 12 hours. Whereas there might be another doula that's like, I stay until the baby's born. If that's 24 hours, 36 hours, I don't leave. That's a personal preference of the client. That's a personal preference of the doula, how they want to operate. And there are sometimes just small things that the client may be like, yeah, but I really want a doula who's going to do this, or like, So Both pricing and policy are two of the primary things that guide a client to decide on their booking. So, to avoid wasting time, I send over my contract and my price prior to the consultation. So as soon as someone reaches out to me and they're like, "Hi, I'm interested in your services. What do I need to do?" I say, "Great, congratulations. Thank you for reaching out. When are you due and where are you giving birth?" That's the first things that I ask, because I'm not even going to bother to send them my information or set up a consult if they're outside of my service area or if I'm booked for those due dates. So that's what I ask first. If their response lets me know that I'm available to potentially serve them, I say, "Great, I'm available. Let me send you some information." And what I do is I send them my contract and I send them my pricing packages. From there, along with that email, I say, "Here's my pricing. Here's my contract. Please review it, whether by yourself or with your partner. And if you have any questions, let me know. If you're in agreement with everything that you see so far about my offerings, I would like to invite you to go ahead and book a consultation with me." That is the main ticket right there. Because if the price is not something that they can afford, or if the contract and the information within the contract is not something that they want, like, or agree with, or whatever have you, they're not going to book a consult. From that point, allergy season, sorry. From that point, if you've provided them with the pricing and the contract, and they still want to book a consultation with you, there's a very, very, very good chance that you may have it in the bag. Or at least they are somebody who is significantly interested in hiring you. And if they don't, it may just end up coming down to the third most important thing that clients decide on for booking, and it's, how do you get along? How do you vibe? And it doesn't mean that the clients are bad clients or that you're a bad doula. If you don't vibe, sometimes you just don't vibe. Sometimes it's just like there's no spark. There's no spark. I remember very vividly this one consultation that I had, and I thought I had it in the bag. Like, they were asking a lot of questions. I answered everything that they were looking for, plus some, I was able to offer. Not only that, they were eligible for my community doula program, which means that they were able to get significantly reduced price service. I know for a fact that they were not going to hire another doula in the area who was going to offer them everything that I was able to offer them at the price that I was offering it. And they didn't hire me. They hired somebody else. And I wasn't, not to say that I wasn't surprised. I was a little bit surprised, but when I went back and thought about it, I was like, the consult was kind of dry. I felt like it was dry on their end. So maybe I was a little too upbeat for what they desired. Maybe they wanted somebody with a little bit more of a calm and, quiet presence. I'm very I don't know, but it wasn't a match for whatever reason. So sometimes it comes down to that energy and that vibe too. That's going to be the final thing that, decides if they're going to book or not. But I feel like the biggest thing for me, and I'm comparing this because when I first started, I would share my pricing, but I didn't necessarily share my package. And I didn't have quite the follow-through process the way that I did. Or sometimes I would go over the contract with them at the consultation and, try to make different packages for them or whatever else. And just, I don't know, it just didn't work. It's this nice process and this flow that works really well for me. At your consultation, you want to be yourself. Be yourself, because that's what's most important. You're going to build this relationship with a client that's going to be very intimate and personal. And you don't want to portray yourself as somebody that you're not. You don't want to have to feel like you're code switching or like any of that stuff when you're serving a client. Of course, there's a level of professionalism that you maintain, but you want to be your authentic self for the most part. So at your consults, be confident, be professional, be sincere, kind, and fairly upbeat. Don't be dry. Don't be dry. Also, stop looking at people like a paycheck. They can sense that desperation that we talked about. I've seen, people talking to potential clients or even customers, like, just at vendor events in different spaces. And there's like this desperation that you can just feel. And it's like, dang, calm down. You want to be firm in what you're offering. Desperation also includes the excessive willingness to like bargain on your prices. They're not going to take you seriously. If you say your price is this, and then they're like, oh, I don't know if I can afford that. And then you start like going on and, oh, but we can do this, or maybe we could do. Like, if you have different pricing plans or a sliding scale for people who can't afford it, then have a sliding scale. But don't try to like, bargain your services and make deals and stuff at the consults to try to get them to book you. If they say they can't afford it, offer them a sliding scale if you have one. Offer them a payment plan option if that's something that you're willing to do. But just don't be desperate. It doesn't look good. Holding space. And that's something that we do as doulas, right? We hold space for people. But this holding space I'm talking about is holding space on your calendar. This is something that really messes up people's booking rates. Stop holding spots for people. First come, first served. That's it. I give potential clients no more than like 72 hours before I move on and I consider them not interested or not booked or whatever. I do one single follow-up. Why? I'm not chasing anybody and I'm not chasing money. I just will not do it. I'm not getting paid to do that. I don't feel like it's necessary to do more than one follow-up. Why? Because they already came to me. They got all the information they needed and they know how to find me if they want the service. And if they're too busy to invest, oh, I got caught up. Life got so busy. I get it. Life is busy. I have 6 kids. I run a business. I run a nonprofit. Trust me, I know busy. But this is your health and well-being. And if you're too busy to take a couple of minutes just to get back to me to say, hey, yes, I want to go forward and book your service, guess what? If I have to chase you to book the service, there's a good chance I'm going to have to chase you for your payments. There's a good chance I'm going to have to chase you for booking your prenatal appointments and coming to your appointments on time. Nope, I'm not chasing nobody. Not chasing anybody. So they reach out. You give them the information. They come in. They do the consultation. You let them know. My calendar is first come, first served. The first person to respond back to me, sign the contract, pay their deposit or their full balance or whatever it is that you require of them to be considered booked, that is who gets service with me. I don't care how much I liked you, how much we vibed and whatever else. Somebody else who I also vibe with and is a good client type that I'm looking for or whatever else, and money talks. It has to. That's just how it is. I cannot, I'm not sending multiple emails and phone calls and listen, one follow-up. at like the 48-hour mark. Hi, this is Ashanti with Woman's Choice. I'm just following up to see if you had any questions after our consultation the other day. Just a reminder, you have 24 hours left in your slot to book your service before you are at risk of me not being available for your due date. Now, that doesn't mean that they can't hire you after that 72 hours. It just means that after 72 hours, you're no longer waiting on them. You're not going to follow up with them again. And if they come to you 2 weeks later and you're booked, you're booked. Oh, well. Stop holding space for people and stop treating people like they're your clients before they're actually fully booked. When I say booked, contract signed and some sort of payment made, a deposit with a payment agreement or whatever else, because those people will continue to get advice from you and information from you. And then the next thing you know, they're like, they got what they needed all for free. And they're like, yeah, no, I don't think I need the service anymore. All along, you've been securing their due date for them, giving them free advice and sending them resources and information and stuff over the last 30 days, thinking that they're going to eventually book. Oh, well, she's only 4 months, so she still has time to book. So I wasn't worried about the fact that it's been a month and she didn't really book her service yet. All the while, you could have potentially had, people wanting to book you for that same due date period, and you close your calendar because you're waiting on this person. Excuse me. Stop waiting on people. That's not how it works. So, super simple, but I'm telling you, the confidence that I'm able to display and the professionalism and being able to be firm in my boundaries has really changed the way that my bookings play out. And then, of course, as you do this, you build your capacity for booking. You're booking more clients. You're serving more clients. More clients are talking about you. And that is going to boost your booking rate. Because honestly, more of my clients come from word of mouth than anything else. I have people who now come to me and they book me without even ever seeing my face. I've had clients call me and they do their consult over the phone, and they're like, I'm like, do you want some time, or do you want my this or whatever? And they're like, nope, send me the contract and send me an invoice. I want to pay. So-and-so told me about you, and if they said the service was good, I trust them. I heard you're one of the best around. I want to book you. And they don't even do a Zoom call or meet with me in person. I've had people who want to get on my radar before they even start trying to get pregnant. I've had a client that was like, me and my husband are going to try getting pregnant pretty soon. Somebody told us you were the doula to have if there was ever a doula to have. And I want to make sure that I'm on your radar, because as soon as we get pregnant, I want your services. And let me tell you, this woman called me literally a little while after she took her pregnancy test. She said, so I'm ready for that contract and invoice now. And I said, oh, congratulations. I said, how far along? She said, I don't know. I just took the test and it was positive. And I was like, okay. She said, I didn't even tell my husband yet. I'm going to surprise him in 2 weeks because it was right before Christmas. So she said, I'm going to surprise him in 2 weeks on Christmas. I said, oh boy, you just took the test and you didn't even tell your husband, and she already paid her deposit, signed the contract, and booked her first prenatal appointment before she even told her husband she was pregnant. It was crazy. It was probably the most complimentary experience that I've ever had. And she had never met me. We had only exchanged messages on Instagram. We had never even spoken on the phone. And now they are still a part of my life. The baby is 2 now, and we still talk all the time. They come and volunteer at my organization, and they're regular friends now, I guess you could say. But you build those relationships, and word of mouth is probably still the best form of marketing that there could possibly ever be. So once you boost your booking rate, you start taking more clients, and you get out there more people will talk about you. And, you know, some people won't even want a consult. They'll just be like, hey, I heard about you. I'm pregnant. I need your services. Like, how much? How much is it? Send me the contract. What do I need to do? You should still do a little consult though sometimes, because you might be somebody that they want, but they might not be somebody that you want. So still do the consult. Take the compliment and do the consult is my recommendation. But again, it's a very simple method, but it has proven to kind of help weed out the people who I wouldn't want to book and the people who wouldn't want to book me. And I want to end this by saying some people don't want to share their pricing because they feel like it will scare people away, because they want an opportunity to kind of share more about their services and give people a chance to listen to what they have to offer. I don't feel like that. My personal opinion is if somebody's going to be scared away by the price without giving you a chance, they're probably not somebody who's open-minded and somebody who doesn't understand the value of what a doula has to offer. And they're probably looking to pay as little as possible. And sometimes, not always, sometimes you get what you pay for. And I feel like if they're going to be scared away just by looking at that, then that's probably not somebody who was going to book me anyway. And you can't lose clients that you were never going to have. And that holds true when I hear a lot of people say, you know, you have some communities of doulas who will say, oh, the new doulas are coming in and they're charging less and they're taking away clients from us. First of all, even as a newer doula, just for your own sake, you should be charging your worth. So let's just get that straight. But somebody charging less is not taken away from anybody, because if somebody could not afford this person's $3,000 doula package, they were never going to hire you in the first place. So just because they went to somebody over here who's charging $800, that doesn't mean they took a client away that you could have possibly had. You would have never had that client because they could only afford $800. They weren't going to hire you anyway. So I just wanted to say, don't let sharing your prices beforehand be something that you think is going to scare people away. If it's going to scare people away, they're probably not the client for you anyway. And that goes back to reaching out to and talking to your target audience. It's as simple as that. There's a doula client for every doula, and there is a doula for every client. So I hope that these tips were super helpful for you. If you're not already doing this and you shift your business and you follow these tips and you have a change in your booking rate, please come tell me. I want to know how it's working for you. I really want to know so that I can go back and share that this has been successful for other people, because that's my hope, is that in sharing this information, you can make a change in your business to help make it a little bit more successful and profitable, because I want everybody to win. There's enough to go around. So if you make this change, let me know. I want to know how it goes. So thank you again for attending yet another webinar, or signing up for yet another webinar. There's another one coming up next week, I think it is, about passive income. So don't miss that one. If you have not signed up, go sign up. And I appreciate your support and your following.